You look like a man who's ready to step to the rhythm of the Brooklyn beat, my friend.
Yeah, I feel a little forsaken. Not gonna lie to you. I feel like I'm on the wrong side of the tracks. There's a whole bunch of jokes in here.
Yes, you are, and we could just go all day long, but let's skip past that nonsense and get right to the latest track. What do you got?
No, don't give me any lip, because I will teach you about urban discipline.
We are talking about Forsaken, the latest from Biohazard, and to say it's the latest is an understatement. It's been, what, 12, 13 years?
It's been a long time since Biohazard put out anything. I was fortunate enough to see them in Philadelphia at a metal fest when they first got back together. Punishment is one of my favorite metal songs of all time. I love the riff. I love everything about what Evan Seinfeld has to say within the song itself. And so for them to come back, it's like, some heroes that have returned from the dead a little bit for me.
Yeah, this is the original lineup too, right?
It is the original lineup. Billy, Bobby, Hambel, Danny Schuler, and Evan Seinfeld. And Billy is Billy Graziadei. I think I said that correctly. But yeah, this is the original lineup from back in the beginning. And it's really awesome to have them back, and they really haven't missed a beat.
It's cool. This track, Forsaken, is, well, the forthcoming album we don't have a date on yet. Is that right?
That is correct. Yep.
Yeah. Hopefully it's indicative of what we're going to get with the rest of whatever the album is that hopefully comes out sooner than later. It's great, man. It's raw enough to be, old school Biohazard, but polished just enough to sit really well within the context of, modern metal recordings. I think they did a great job with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's New York, hardcore, metal, whatever you want to call it. And, I think it's fitting that you've got green, typo negative green behind you for this, this podcast, because, they're very New York. Through and through, and you feel it in their music. They always have. Politically, they're really are talking about the underdog an awful lot. And I think a lot of people that are, on the wrong side of the tracks or don't, have generational wealth feel forsaken. And so this is really an anthem for a lot of people. They also speak broken English on this, as you can tell, during the chorus, and that's done on purpose to speak to those folks that feel wrong. This song hits home right at the right time for a lot of people. They always seem to come back at the time when the world kind of needs Biohazard's voice to speak for those that are in the urban world that are not being heard necessarily.
Yeah, those of us who are not independently wealthy, and maybe if we're lucky, there's one comma in the total amount of our bank account balances. Much less 2 or 3. Yeah, it's easy to feel like you don't count anymore. You don't matter now, we are apolitical here on Shit Talk, but yeah, in the current climate and with what the messaging is as far as who's important and who isn't, it's kind of ugly times. And so, as you said, this is kind of a fitting track for today.
I think there's a lot of people out there, and again, not to get political, there's billionaires fighting with billionaires, arguing in the news, and the news is eating it up. And guess who owns the news channels? The billionaires, right? And so it's easy for a lot of people to gravitate towards the message that Biohazard has. And the song Forsaken is that. It is angry. It is pissed off. It is understanding of why people are feeling the way that they feel and feeling forsaken. And it helps that they brought back a lot of guitar driven work, and Bobby Hambel is actually allowed to do guitar solos. There's some good kicking hardcore riffs in there that, some of their work in the recent albums, and when I say recent, the last 25 years, haven't really been guitar driven. They've been more bouncy, kind of a little more vocally driven, a little more rappy. This is going back to their roots a little bit more and letting the guitars fly, which I embrace. I think it's great. I hope that the full record is actually all guitar driven and Bobby is front and center. Yeah,
it's the kind of this track is, I'm picturing that, and perhaps now they've played it live once or twice, but I'm picturing it a piece of music that is going to spool up a crowd and get some circular motion out on the floor.
Yeah, absolutely. And, again, shades of gray, this song is shades of the past for them. And I'm really happy that they're back. I'm really happy that Billy and Bobby are their guitar work is actually front and center. And Evan doesn't sound any different. Evan sounds like Evan, and he took a long reprieve from music. And you're a musician. Do you lose your chops? Does it go away? And so it looks like he hasn't missed a beat. If anything, he sounds better than he ever has.
Yeah, the vocals are great on this, and I know it's dueling vocals with Evan and Billy, and they complement each other. Their voices complement each other really, really well. The gang vocals in the background are really thick and nasty, and it's great. I wasn't sure what to expect because it has been a while, and we talk all the time about how bands are allowed to change and styles evolve over the years. Well, these guys, certainly as the original members, have had a long time where their musical ethos, may have evolved and changed a bit. And if this is an indicator of what they're up to, I'm excited about it because it's a little less hip hoppy, with some of their older material. I like this. It's more straight ahead, just hardcore, bat to the face kind of stuff. If this single is any indication of what's to come, I'm excited. I'm really looking forward to hearing it.
This is my favorite track since State of World Address. Urban Discipline and State of World Address to me were the high water marks. And then after that, it kind of fell off. I was really pleasantly surprised. I had no expectations going in, but when I heard the riffs, all I could see was circle pits and a lot of happy people and a lot of old school Biohazard fans being excited. And then even the new kids that think that Turnstile's pretty badass would probably find common ground with this track as well.
Yeah, could you imagine like a bill, like the touring bill, say Biohazard, Turnstile, I don't know, maybe Doomsday?
Sure. Yeah, there's a little bit of crossover thrash in there. There's some hardcore. There's some salsa dancing for Turnstile, along with, if they still play some of their older stuff, some good breakdowns. But it would be a really good collision of new meets old, and I'd love to see Biohazard be the flagship on that. I think Turnstile is probably more popular right now, but that's not to say that if Biohazard puts out a banger and there's 10, 12 tracks that are soup to nuts, start to finish, you rip your head off and leave your stump bleeding and your head on the floor smiling, then maybe they do headline over Turnstile. Who knows? But it's great to have them back. They seem invigorated. They seem excited. And it's awesome that Biohazard has a place and that their voice is actually resonating in the real the conflicted world that we live in.
Yeah. Well, it's a great song. And what do we got? They're touring this fall with Onyx and a couple other support acts as well. I don't know if there's dates out or not for that yet. I didn't look, but
there is, and it's on all of the socials, and you can go check it out. And they're going to be out and about. I know that they've done some shows over in Europe, and all that material is on the YouTubes, and so go check that out as well.
God, it just occurred to me. Yeah, here I am saying I don't know if the dates for a fall tour are out. Fall starts in like a week.
Yeah. Football training camp is starting for that. That football that's shaped
the oblong. Ball, right? Yeah.
Just so you're aware of that. Yeah. Football training camp is starting. I've started thinking about fantasy football, which I'm not ready to do it. It's summer and
still summer. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't want to think about it. I'm not ready for a pumpkin spice yet.
I appreciate that, and feel free. My invites have already gone out for my fantasy football teams.
Yeah.
And that's where me and other people just sit around and fantasize about playing fantasy football.
Pass. You sound like a loser, dude. Seriously. You just sit in your typo negative green drum studio there and play drums. That's probably a better use of your time.
It is
than
definitely
doing
a better
fantasy.
use of my time. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good stuff on that. Go suck it.
Fuck you.